Hey, what's up you guys? So today I want to talk about what the legal requirements are for labeling cosmetics. So I do have like a whole bunch of notes written down, well, typed down on my laptop here because I can't memorize all this. I'm not the type of person to write out a script and memorize it and then say it word for word. I just like jotting down a bunch of notes and referring back to those while I'm making a video because it's a lot less stressful and so much easier. But anyways, let's just get into what you guys came here for. The legal requirements for a cosmetic label. So I'm just gonna be over here and I'm gonna have like a little fake label demonstration to go along with what I'm saying. So the first requirement to include on your label is your product's identity, and that is being a body wash, face wash, toner, blush, eyeshadow, whatever your product is its identity. And normally that's somewhere in like the middle, top part of your label. This part isn't required, but I do think it's really important to include your business name. And typically people like to include it on the top of the bottle. I see it sometimes along the side of the bottle, but the top of the bottle is a pretty good place to put it. So this product is face wash. You can also call it like a moisturizing face wash. You can call it a rose face wash, grapefruit face wash, a refreshing face wash, whatever you want, get creative with it, but for this one we're just calling it a face wash. Then the next label requirement is the net contents, and this is the weight of the product inside your bottle. And there are some size requirements for the net weight, but I'll talk about that a little bit later. So you want to have your net weight on your bottle, and it is required to be on like the bottom part of the label in the front. The net weight needs to be visible by the customer when the product is being displayed. So say your product is like on the shelves at like Walmart or something, the net weight needs to be visible, like front hand. You pick up that product and you can see the net weight like right away along with the identity. So if the product is a liquid, it needs to be in fluid ounces along with the metric version of fluid ounces, because you know everybody else in the world uses metric besides the US. So say this face wash is 2 fluid ounces, then it needs to have 59 milliliters as well, and this is typically how I write that out on my bottle. So say your product is a solid like a moisturizer, then it needs to be in like 2 ounces along with the metric version of ounces, which would be 56 grams. So just make sure you have both versions of the weight. Then the next legal requirement are the ingredients, and typically people put this on the back of the label, but wherever you want to put it is fine. And it says word for word, the ingredients must be declared in descending order of predominance. So whatever ingredient has the most percentage, then that needs to be first, and then it goes down to the least amount of product. But there's a little bit more to the requirements. Color additives and ingredients present at 1% or less may be declared without regard for predominance. So if you have an ingredient in your product that's less than 1%, you can put it in whatever order. Typically I like to put them in alphabetical order, but you can do whatever you want because there's no requirements. And then it says the ingredients must be identified by the names established or adopted by the standards for international nomenclature of cosmetic ingredients. That stands for INCI. So you need to have the INCI name for your ingredients, which I believe is like the Latin term for the ingredients. It's basically the name of the ingredients that is known all around the world. So for example, the Latin INCI name for aloe vera is Aloe barbadensis leaf juice. Okay, I butchered that name. And typically, like next to the crazy word like aloe barbendis, I'll put in parentheses aloe. So what I like to do is I put the Latin name and then in parentheses put the English name so people can actually read it and know what it is. Because I know a lot of people will pick up a product, look at the ingredients, see if they actually know what's in it, and determining whether they know what's in it or not will help them decide if they want to buy it or not. So you want to make sure people can read your ingredients and know what it is. It's not required to put the English wording, but I think it's a good idea. It does make your ingredient list a little bit longer, which can be kind of harder to squeeze that in on your label, but trust me, it's worth it so people know what the heck they're buying. And last but not least, you must include the name and the address of your business. And typically people include this like on the like lower kind of like bottom half of the bottle, like somewhere on the back, like underneath the ingredients, so it's not just like bam, this is my address. So wherever you're doing business, you need to put that address. There is a little loophole. If your business can be found on the white pages or somewhere online, you can find your address online, then you don't need to include the street address. Then you just need to include the city, state, and zip code. Also, I think it's a good idea to include like your website or like where people can buy your products. Obviously, if that address is your shop, then that's where people can buy your product. But if you have a website, I think it's a good idea to include that as well. So those are all the label requirements that are legally needed to be on a cosmetic label. So let's talk about what the size requirements are. So obviously when it comes to your business name and the identity, those are probably going to be pretty big. And they don't really have any legit size requirements for that. But essentially, you're going to want those to be pretty big anyway, so no problem there. Make sure those are big and bold enough for the people to just pick up your product and say, bam, I know this is a face wash. When it comes to the net weight and the ingredients, there are requirements. The letters must be no less than 1/16 of an inch. And you need to measure the O or the I, because those are pretty small letters, so you need to measure those letters. But if the total package surface available to bear labeling is less than 12 square inches, the letters must not be less than 1/32 of an inch. Hope that made sense. So basically, just make sure you're measuring those net weight and the ingredients, making sure those are big enough. Also, another thing which I think is super important to include on your label is the directions, because you want your customer to know how to use the product. That's super important to include. So I do want to talk about one more thing. Have you seen, well, I'm sure you've seen, how some cosmetics or even like food is sold in boxes, and then you have to open up the box and pull out your product? Well, there's some requirements for that. So whatever box or whatever is presented for sale, like at Walmart or at a spa, wherever you're selling your product, whatever is presented for sale, all these requirements go for that. So if you have a box, your face wash is in, and then you pull out your face wash, that inside bottle, the face wash does not need to include the ingredients and the net weight since you've included it on the outside label. Hope that made sense. I'm sure you guys have seen like granola bars when you buy like a pack of granola bars and you pull out one of the granola bars inside. It doesn't have the ingredients, it doesn't have the net weight, and it says this label is not intended for sale. Same goes for cosmetics. If they're sold in a box, the box needs to comply with FDA regulations for labeling. So let's talk about what the difference is between a body wash and a soap real quick. So by definition, a soap is comprised mainly of saponified oils, soap products consisting mainly of alkaline salt or fatty acids, and making no label claim other than cleansing the human body are not considered cosmetics under the law. So cast out soap, just plain old bar soap like Dove bar soap or like those bar soaps you typically get at like flea markets and stuff, those are just soap, and all they're claiming to do is cleansing the body. And their label requirements are completely different. And typically with body wash, they normally claim to mean moisturizing or maybe exfoliating. They just have different claims than just cleansing like a bar of soap does. And all the label requirements require are to have the place of business's name, their address, the identity, calling it soap, and the net weight. You don't need to include the ingredients or anything else. So as long as you include all that stuff except for the ingredients on a bar of soap or like liquid cast towel soap, then you're good. But I did notice typically a lot of people do like to include the ingredients on soap anyways. I mean, why not? You want your customers to know what's inside of it, because typically that helps decide people if they want to buy it or not. So I do recommend including the ingredients anyways, but it's not required. But yeah, so that is everything I wanted to cover in this video. I felt like this video was much needed because I've already done videos on how to make labels, and yeah, if you don't know how to make labels, then check out those videos. I'll have them linked up here and down below. I'll also show you guys how to waterproof labels too, so that video will be linked as well. So for all you guys that have been learning how to make labels from me, now you know what is legally required for cosmetics. So if there's anything you want me to elaborate on or I didn't explain well enough in this video, leave me a comment down below. I'll be sure to answer those questions for you guys. And I'll also have the site where I got all this information from linked down below for you as well. So you can go check out that site and read it all for yourself and maybe get even more detailed information, because there was more information, but this was all the important stuff. Even though it was all probably important because it was all on the site. But yeah, so check it out if you're making cosmetic labels. This is overall everything that's actually required. One more thing, as I mentioned in all my videos, I sell all natural skincare products over on my Etsy shop. I have a free shipping code and a 10% off coupon code down in the description box. So use those codes if you guys decide to purchase anything. My link is down in the description box, and I'll also have it linked up here for you guys, so it's a lot easier for you to find my sites. But anyways, I do hope you guys have a great week, and I hope to see you guys next time. Bye!
I'm stuck in the motions. I've been consumed by the wrath of time, like I'm shy.